Welcome to the introduction of the Exegeses Bible. My name is Victor, and in this short video I'll be sharing with you some of the unique features of the Exegeses Bible, as well as how some of the words, when they're literally translated, can affect the understanding of a passage. The Exegeses Bible has been around for many, many years. We've been using it since 2000 when we found it in a friend's warehouse for his bookstore. Truly been blessed by it, and our family loves studying it ever since then. So let me share some of those things with you about how it's laid out. On the left side of the page, we find Herb Jahn was the original translator, and this is his first translation, where he took the original 1611 King James, made word-for-word study through the whole Bible. Words that you find in italicized, here I've highlighted the word perfect, would be the word under consideration, and then the word right behind it, in case integrious, would be the word that he believes better, more literally, is the accurate translation for that particular Hebrew word. Of course, Hebrew in the Old Testament, Greek in the New Testament. See in the same passage here, he has the term upright, which is italicized, and then right behind it, the word straight. Then you go across the page to the right-hand side, which you have the original word-for-word translation. It's sort of put into a flowing style that you see, for example, that phrase, he says that man being integrous and straight, brings it all together, so it's a little more readable and understandable that way. But again, you can go back and forth from side to side in the page and see those changes and how they affect the meaning and translation of the passage. The other great thing about the Exegeses Bible is that all the names of God are shown as they actually are in the, again, Greek or Hebrew. Here the term God, G-O-D, is the literal Hebrew term for Elohim. If you go down further in the passage, here you can see the same thing where the King James uses the term Lord with caps. The exegesis then translates it as Yahweh. So again, the beauty of this Exegeses Bible is that you do see all the names of God originally as they were portrayed. On our website, take a look at Psalm 1. See that it is also a beautiful translation of the name of God right in the first phrase of Psalm 1 that most people don't even realize. So let's take a look at some of these differences as they make a difference here in the passage. Down here, of course, we know the story of Job, or we should know the story of Job, where we see sort of behind the curtains a conversation between Satan and, of course, Yahweh. God asks Satan a question, and he says, verse 8, and it says here in the King James, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth. I heard and understood that maybe Job was being put on a pedestal or being boasted about by God because he was such an upright man, one that feared God. It was really, of course, a trophy for God in many respects because he was so faithful and so righteous, not in his own working, but of course, as he let God work in his heart and became faithful from that standpoint. But if you look at verse 8 here on the exegesis, on the right-hand side, it reads, and Yahweh says to Satan, have you set your heart on my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, an integrous and straight man? What I thought was interesting, again, my observations are that the term set your heart on seems to better represent the true nature of Satan as we would know him from the scriptures. Of course, God knew exactly who Satan was and what his motivations were. And I believe here that God is laying out Satan's true motivations, that Satan had indeed set his heart on Job to destroy him, as Satan does for any man of God, any man or woman of God. We know from the New Testament that Satan is characterized as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. We see that, I believe, right here in this passage, where God says, in a sense, you have set your heart on Job. And, of course, Satan jumps right in then in verse 9. Answers and said, yeah, well, you're right, but here's why Job fears you. Again, let me just highlight this, where Satan says, well, does Job fear God for naught? Exegesis says, and Satan answers Yahweh and says, Job fears he Elohim gratuitously. Interesting phrase there, gratuitously, meaning that, again, as I understand it, that Satan was basically saying that to God that, Job is, yes, he's a righteous man, but he does it because you've given him all these good things. Look, he's got a great family, he's got wealth, he's got health, he's got business, he's got, all the stuff that you've given him, you've blessed him. So why wouldn't he be the top godly man because you've given him so much and you've been so gratuitous to him. And of course, we know the rest of the story where God says, okay, well, I think you're wrong, Satan. I know you're wrong. Let's take away those things. You can do only so many things, take away only so many things. Of course, God only allows Satan to do certain things, which is for our benefit. And of course, we see at the end that Job did have his health taken from him, his wealth, his family. And at the end, he still says, blessed be the name of the God. He gives, he takes away. God is still to be blessed above everything else. I like the fact that the exegesis brings out some of those terms that help us to understand the passage even more clearly. Of course, it's been a blessing to us because of that. Take a look at our website if you're not already on there. Take a look at the examples we give and see how it blesses your life. And then look for more videos, different passages that I will bring together here for you about this. I appreciate your time. Lord bless you.